Morning Blitz begins now.
Yeah. She's a great swimmer.
They called her the greatest swimming machine they've ever seen. Did they forget about Michael Phelps already?
I wonder the same thing.
I mean, she's amazing.
What's going on? That's Dick Rick. She's Kelly Quinn.
Hello.
I'm Lewis. She was good. I mean, I think we're down in the overall medal count, though, right? After
Our lead is
yeah.
only because France had a really good day.
That's right.
But
I mean, we're still in the lead.
yeah, we're still in the lead.
Yeah.
We got another gold. We're going to get a lot more.
Yeah.
We will win the total medal count. Will we get the gold medal count? That's the thing.
That is the question. So, this is kind of a weird thing. And you would think that it would be the opposite. But I'll start you off with this little nugget on a Thursday, which some people call the new Friday, but I only believe that's if you don't have to get up and work tomorrow morning. The rest of us, it's just Thursday. Gen Z parents have better relations than Gen Z singles. Most of the time, your parents, you get married, you stop. Well, no. Apparently, Gen Z parents, once they leave their child-free peers behind when it comes to getting it on these days. A new study found.
But you mean when they become empty nesters?
Yeah, they find out, no, they just have more, like once their kids are growing up and getting older, they're having a better...
I do not know one thing you're talking about. I'm so confused. What is the story? Gen Z what?
Okay, you know how the old story used to be once you were married and you had kids, all the sexual activity stopped, right?
Okay.
That's not true with Gen Z parents. Apparently, Gen Z parents, it's getting better once the kids grow up and get out of there and you're having kids. That's the new thing.
So when you're empty nesters?
Yeah, or your kids are old enough that you don't have to take care of them anymore.
Like they can bathe themselves.
Yes.
Well, yeah, you have more time.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that true for any generation?
I don't know. I'm not a parent of any generation.
Well, but you have kids in the house.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 79% of Gen Z parents reported having, more activity than they have, while 45% of childless Gen Z parents had the same. So parents with kids are having more activity than parents without kids. And that bucks the trend that's been that way forever.
Gen Z are between the ages of 12 and 27. There's not a single Gen Zer who's an empty nester.
No, if you're a parent of a Gen Zer, if you have given birth to a Gen Z child.
Yeah, I got that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not the Gen Z itself.
Okay. I'm so confused.
So you're saying the parents of the older kids, not Gen Z kids.
Correct.
Like the previous generation.
Yeah, if you're a parent who has a Gen... Oh, my God, this was
there
not supposed to be
There are some people getting lucky out there is what you're saying,
yes.
right? There are a certain group of people getting lucky and the rest of people aren't.
Let me rephrase. Millennial parents basically stopped having sex when they had kids. Gen Z parents, it's different. They're having more sex than ever. Does that make it more clear?
Parents of the millennials are not getting it on as much as parents of the Gen Zers. Now we've got it.
Got it?
Right. I never heard the millennials once.
Okay,
that was
supposedly the Gen Z parent is having more action than the Gen Z kid is.
All right, well, I will say this. If a married couple enjoy sex with each other, they're going to find time. They're going to make time. I don't care how old their kids or what generation they are.
I don't know how that got as mind-numbing as it did.
I feel like you didn't pre-read that story.
I did pre-read the story.
He had this plan since yesterday.
I did pre-read.
Oh.
I didn't. I thought...
next time, let's type out an outline and then run it by us. To
Will you tell her that's been in there since...
It was, I know.
Thank you.
We talked about it after the show yesterday.
Thank you. That's been in there for longer than 24 hours.
He told me the headline. He goes, I want to talk about this tomorrow morning when Kelly gets in. I go, okay.
Doug Rogers says, get to the point, man. Joe Swavely says, Lewis, go back to bed and try the story again tomorrow. And Gerald said, Esh, Kelly, I was with you. WTF was he talking about?
Get to the point.
I thought I did. You know what I did in my head? I'm like, I'm going to explain this without going into in-depth. Apparently, I needed to go more in-depth on that one.
I still am not sure exactly what you were saying. However... I sort of get the point.
Parents of Gen Z
I don't care. I don't
have
care.
more
I'm
sex
done
than
caring
parents.
about
Well,
this.
I'm going to explain it in
I
case
don't
somebody...
need it.
I'm not talking to you.
I'm
not talking to you.
Nobody else cares either. We
Well,
all
you
got
speak
it.
for the world
A group
now?
of people are having sex now that their kids are out of the house. Okay, got it. gone on way too long.
Yeah,
Next.
If I could go back in time, I probably would have just not read that story. Hey, I had tacos for dinner last night. What'd you guys have?
You did? Were they delish?
Hey, we're something.
What do you put on your taco? Wait a minute. Is this parents of Gen Z kids having tacos now that their kids are out of the house?
Possibly.
Wow.
Could possibly be. Let's give you something from waterbeds and stuff. That's a better way to go. What do you got today, Thick?
All right, Morning Blitz trivia question, $25 up for grabs to waterbeds and stuff if you're the first one to text in the correct answer at 99700. What former Emmy award-winning Saturday Night Live cast member will return to the show this fall? Be the first one to tell us at 99700 and get the gift card.
6 a.m. on the Morning Blitz at 6:21 a.m. with Thick, Kelly, and Lewis, and you will see some warm weather today, humid again, so make sure you water your pets and your old people. It'll be in the 90s again. Right now, Morning Blitz trivia.
What former Emmy award-winning Saturday Night Live cast member will return to Saturday Night Live this fall? I bet Kelly knows the answer to this.
Maya Rudolph.
She has to, right?
Yes.
I mean, Kamala Harris is running for president, and Maya is a great Kamala. So I wonder what the angle will be most of the time.
I don't know.
Because, I mean, you're supposed to be making fun of them, right? Isn't that what they usually do?
I mean, it's got to be like the laughing Kamala.
Oh, yeah.
Although there is a woman on TikTok who's so good at this Kamala Harris laugh.
Yes.
She's amazing.
I've seen her.
She's really funny.
Yeah. She does Mamala really well.
Does Alec Baldwin come back now that his
I
legal
bet.
trouble is behind him?
Who else are you going to put?
Well, they have the guy that's in there that's been doing Trump. I can't remember his name, though.
Oh, okay.
And he's not horrible.
No, you need to have Maya and Alec Baldwin doing a debate.
I think
That's
so.
what I think, too.
That'll be great.
So that could be fun. So I believe once upon a time we talked about the plight of the delivery driver, and it's to get it from point A to point B, but not necessarily, there's a limit to what you should ask the driver to do. A DoorDash driver reached that limit. He was tasked with delivering 100-plus pounds of pet food. The store put the bags in her car, and she went on TikTok to announce that she's not lifting them out of her car and taking them to the person's door, which I kind of understand. I feel like that's, there's a difference between DoorDash and a furniture deliverer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have a washer and dryer delivered to your house, you expect those guys to put that bad boy on a dolly and haul it up. If you're too lazy to go get your own pet food, why is it the DoorDash driver's job to carry 100 pounds worth of pet food to your house? Unless you're elderly and not physically capable of doing it. But if you're just lazy, I don't know, burn a few calories.
Here she is.
When doing DoorDash, I never understand stuff like this because I'm not carrying this for y'all. I'm not taking it out the car. I didn't put it in the car. The cashier did. This is 100 and something pounds. 4 bags of dog and cat food. I know y'all not even about to tip me, and I'm probably gonna have to walk upset. Not gonna happen. Not happening.
So what do you do in that case? Just call and say, hey, you need to meet me outside to get your
Hey, I got it from point A to point B. Carry it in your house.
Now, we have to occasionally, very regularly, get those 40-pound bags of salt for our water softener, and they're really difficult to lift for me.
Sure.
I can do it, but if I was a DoorDash driver, I would be really bummed if I had to DoorDash those giant bags of salt.
Right.
Be like, come meet me at the car. I'll help you carry it in.
But again, if I'm DoorDashing your foot-long sub from Subway, that's one thing. If I'm DoorDashing 200 pounds of pet food bags, we got to talk.
Okay, is there, like, when you apply to be a DoorDash driver, do they say must be able to lift 50 pounds?
I would think there's some kind of weight limit, because I know if you drive for like FedEx, UPS, or Amazon, part of the job description is lifting like 50 to 70 pounds. But again, you're DoorDashing. That's food.
And you don't know. It might be an elderly person. So,
yeah, I don't know how that works. I have no idea.
But I don't fault her for not wanting to do it.
I mean, when because a DoorDash driver, they have an app, right? And it says, and you pick whatever delivery you're going to jump on, and then you claim it and go get it. Is that how that works pretty much?
Yeah, do you know what the order is?
That's what I was wondering.
I don't know either.
Are you just like, we got a grocery store order here and needs delivered, and she jumps on it and then gets there, and it's these 4 25-pound bags of dog food.
Right. Which to me is...
that they put in the car for her.
Right.
Yeah. I guess my point is that I'm sure there is a lifting requirement if you're a DoorDash driver. I'm sure like an Instacart driver. You're doing groceries that could be heavy.
Sure.
I mean, that you should be able to lift whatever you can buy at a grocery store, like a giant bag of charcoal or a bag of salt for your water softener or a giant bag of dog food. You should be able to lift that if you're going to be an Instacart driver.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she probably would have had to make 4 trips. Each one bag at a time.
I just think we have become so effing lazy. It's disgusting.
Okay, but if that attitude prevents you from wanting to help bring people's groceries in, you shouldn't be a DoorDash driver. Like you can complain about that, and I think you might have a point about laziness. But if you're a DoorDash driver, isn't that the job?
But I think the job perception and then what people try to push the limits of are different. Because what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of DoorDash?
Food.
I think of food.
Right. You don't think of 100 pounds of pet food.
I guess with Instacart. I would think
Again,
Instacart.
Different. Instacart, different.
I didn't even know DoorDash did like grocery deliveries and stuff like that. I thought that was all just food.
If I'm trying to make a side hustle and I go work for DoorDash, my thought is I'm going to be delivering somebody's sandwich or whatever else. Maybe I get a catering order, but again, even if I'm delivering food for 5 people, if that's not usually 100 pounds. So I get that, but we have become so lazy.
Well, okay, what if it's elderly people, if it's elderly people who have their groceries delivered every week? What if it's something like that situation,
Bradley says she can see the order requirements before accepting the order.
Yeah, so I don't think really you can complain about having to make 4 trips to someone's door with 100 pounds of dog food when that's the job you signed up for.
But here's an interesting thing.
I can see like maybe you're annoyed. Oh gosh, it's another heavy order. Like I really want to do this. But it is your job. You're getting paid for that. You don't have to be a DoorDash driver. You can you can run people around and, lift. You can be a Lyft driver. You don't have to lift anything then.
But here's the thing, though. If you can order we all agree you can practically order anything on Amazon, right? So let's say you order a dresser on Amazon, and that gets delivered to your house. In the store, let's say you go through any big box store or whatever, and you go to pick up the same dresser. It says on the box, 2-person lift. Yet they'll throw that in the back of the Amazon truck for the one guy to lift it out and put it on your porch that you probably haven't cleared a path to, and it's probably up 10 or 12 flights of steps to get to your porch. And that's a 2-person lift that one guy now has to do because under the definition, that's his job.
Jen said DoorDashers do the grocery shopping themselves? Like they go in the store?
They do?
I don't know. That's what Jen said.
Well, that's what Instacart does. You get the order and then you go in and...
Well, because she said the cashier put the dog food in her car. So I'm guessing she went in and ordered it and they brought it out and put it in her car.
Cece said the DoorDash limit with stuff is only supposed to be 50 pounds, and me calling people lazy because the person's not doing their job, there's a difference in what job they signed up for.
Well, we don't know.
That's what I'm saying. That's the question. But again, if you want to argue with me that the world has not become lazy, I will die on that hill because it has been.
I agree with you.
It has. We're so lazy we can't pick up a roll of paper towels from the grocery store. We have to have it delivered. And I'm not talking about the elderly who can't physically do it. I'm talking about lazy MFers that are just too lazy to go do it.
I went and picked up food Sunday, and I could not believe how many drivers were in there picking up orders.
Right.
Like 7 people were in there picking up orders to deliver.
And for all the people, I don't have time to grocery shop. What'd you do for the last 20 years? You never ate until they started delivering it.
All right. By the way, I did want to mention that Alan Price from Lewis Center was the one who got the trivia question first a little bit ago, and he's got the $25 to waterbeds and stuff.
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
Before we got something, let me apologize to Blitz Nation and just agree to disagree on the whole. The delivery thing gets me worked up because I'm just genetically, I don't want someone picking my groceries for me. I don't do it myself. I don't want to pay $20 for something I can pay $13 for. I get it. It creates jobs to an extent, but I also feel like we push the boundaries of that so we can just agree to disagree. You want to be lazy and get your stuff delivered? Live your life.
I mean, hey, again, like you just said, though, it creates jobs for somebody, so I guess it's good.
In some capacities. What do you got? Who's first? Oh, let's go with you.
Me?
Yes.
All right. Unfortunately, large-scale events always come with this terrible thing on the side called sex trafficking. The Arnold is notorious for it. San Diego Comic-Con draws about 100,000 people. Mm-hmm. But they did have an anti-human trafficking sting operation going on last week, and they did arrest 14 people. Cops worked both sides. They went undercover as sex buyers and also posted fake ads selling sex in order to catch these people. In addition to the arrest, 10 victims were saved, 9 adults and 1 16-year-old. So 14 arrests, 10 victims saved. California Attorney General Rob Bonta said, unfortunately, sex traffickers capitalize on these events and exploit their victims for profit. But yeah, they did good. I don't know. I haven't heard any numbers about people who got trafficked or, taken, but they made 14 arrests and saved 10 lives. So
I think that's awesome that they did that.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to do that, but I would be the one that went undercover and be like, guys, nobody wants to traffic me. I've had this all day.
I'm trying to get trafficked.
I'm trying.
They won't take me, damn it.
I'm even showing some thigh and it's still not working.
I've got something.
What do you got?
Japan's rice stockpile has fallen to its lowest level in decades.
What?
And the country's Ministry of Agriculture says tourists are eating up all the rice.
What?
Yeah, I guess it's at its rice inventory is at its lowest level since at least 1999, but Japan's population is shrinking. So they're like, our people aren't eating this rice. The problem is, and this is according to the country's Ministry of Agriculture, international tourists have been flocking to the country in record numbers since the lifting of COVID restrictions and have been just eating. Of course, I mean, rice is a very basic, enormous part of the, diet there. And they're blaming the fact that there are so many tourists that their rice stockpile's gone down. Also, side note, they've been having issues with high temperatures and water shortages. So they've had a big decline in rice production, which is actually the problem. But the guys out there going, you guys are eating all our rice. Go home.
Yeah, okay. And then you lose all that money for your economy.
That's
but,
right.
Whatever. I mean,
so there are because this story has gotten out there in Japan, they have started restricting rice purchases in some grocery stores because they're trying to prevent panic buying. Because how we love to panic buy.
Sure.
So they're like restricting rice purchases in some grocery stores in Japan right now. So anyway.
Jeez.
Glad this is Japan and not over here. People be DoorDashing rice everywhere.
Well, that's what I picked up China. That's what I picked up Sunday was Chinese food. And that's where all the DoorDash drivers were picking up food.
Eric, I bet you get your pizza delivered. Nope, I go pick it up every damn time.
Pizza's different. Pizza delivery's been around forever.
It has. Plus, every time I get a pizza delivered, it's been sloshed around. I go pick it up because if it's going to get sloshed around, I'll be the one to do the sloshing. I got something. So, only a few actors have ever been able to say they are in the $100 million plus a picture club, okay? Mel Gibson made ridiculous money on The Passion of the Christ because he funded it himself, and then he took, that movie made so much money he made like $400 million off of that or something like that. Tom Cruise joined the $100 million club after Top Gun Maverick, and Will Smith, to do Men in Black 3 back in the day, joined the $100 a movie.
He got $100 million for that?
To come back for Men in Black 3. Right.
That?
Yeah.
Oh,
so there's not that many actors that have been up there on that level. Robert Downey Jr., the big announcement, Rick talked about it on Monday. He's coming back as Dr. Doom. Supposedly, and they have not confirmed this yet, his last deal for Marvel for like the last few times he was Iron Man, he made like $90-something million. That was the thing. For this one, they're saying when this is all said and done, he'll get a gigantic salary plus points on the movie itself, which could lead him to be upwards of $100+ million per the 2 or 3 movies that he signed on to do.
Wow. What a payday.
Right?
Good for him.
Well, now I know how Mel Gibson afforded to buy that island.
Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh.
So, I mean, that's why I think his ex-wife never came when all that, you make me want to smoke, when that whole stuff came out. I think the reason his ex-wife never said anything is because they got divorced and she was already entitled to half of that Passion of the Christ money. And that Jesus money spent pretty well. So,
dang.
But yeah, that's a lot of money for what? They're on screen for maybe 30, 40 minutes.
Right.
You know, yeah, it's pretty good work if you can find it. You can DoorDash anything you want at that point. For everybody.
You have your own personal DoorDash driver, probably 3 or 4 of them.
Absolutely. So there you go. That's what we got. 6:46 on the morning, 6:50 on the morning Blitz. It's Nick, Kelly, and Lewis. Do you guys know what all the text acronyms are?
Oh gosh, I think I know what a lot of them are.
Yeah, most of them.
So, you know, FOMO. A lot of people use FOMO. Do you know what FOMO is? Fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Okay.
WTF, why the face?
Yeah. Do you know what LWKY is?
LWKY. I don't.
Low key.
Oh, low key.
I was trying to think of a word for each letter.
Yeah,
keep
me
it
too.
LWKY.
That's not an
keep it
acronym.
low key.
That's not an acronym.
But it's an internet abbreviation.
Yeah.
Got it.
So basically, a lot of the Google trends have gone up because people Google what those mean when they get a text.
I've done that before.
Have you?
Like if I see something on Reddit or something, I'm like, what does that mean?
Right.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
That's how you learn.
The biggest one in 2009, everybody was Googling FML, which means F my life. 2010, FTW for the win. 2011, SMH, which I think everybody knows that one, right?
Shakes my head.
Shaking me up. 2012, everybody knows this one too, YOLO.
You only live once.
Yeah. 2013 was OOTD.
Outfit of the day.
You knew that.
Yeah.
All right. I did not know what that was.
No,
I never used that one.
That's got to be a girl's thing. I bet there was never a guy that writes that.
This one
Tons
is
of guys who do fit checks every single day.
Fit checks?
Yeah, on TikTok. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
2014, no one knew what thought was. THOT.
Oh, that hoe over there?
Yeah, that one. You know which one. TBH, you know that one?
To be honest.
Yeah. WYD.
What are you doing?
Okay, yeah.
Dang, Kelly.
Kelly's on fire. TFW.
That feeling when.
Okay, I didn't know this. I didn't know that one.
I think we found a game for you, Kelly.
I've never used that one. The FOMO we already talked about. FYP, did you know that one?
For you page. Is
Okay.
Oh, I was going to say
TikTok
something
thing.
much more R-rated.
And I knew this one. The biggest one of 2021 was 1437. Do you know what that is?
1437. I don't.
143 is I love you.
Oh, okay.
So 1437 is I love you forever.
Aw. Why is 143 I love you?
It's just always because I believe
One letter, 4 letters, 3 letters, and then
I
7
love
letters.
you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I never used. I've never
Got
used.
a lot of acrobatics to figure out what that one
You
means.
truly do.
I thought sure FYP was going to be FU people.
Yeah, I did. I can see where that. I've never used 143 in my real life, let alone on the cell phone. Everybody knows IYKY.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know, right?
Yeah.
BFF.
Best friends
No,
forever.
BFFR.
Be effing for real.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Look at Kelly on fire. So those are the top
It
acronyms.
just shows you how much I'm on the internet.
But those are the top acronyms that people Google because they see them come through in their texts and they have no idea what the other person is trying to say.
But I love that. Now, because memo to all you Gen Zers who say Gen X and above have no idea about anything. Kelly just owned all of you.
Straight up. Like it wasn't even close. What'd you miss? One out of all those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know the 1, 2, 4.
The 143?
143. Already getting it wrong.
You still didn't?
Still don't know it.
Yeah, so there you go. Now you learned what your favorite acronyms are. But I feel bad because people text. Some people are big acronym users. Some people are big emoji users. And if you're not in the emoji game, you got to figure out what that means. Why'd you send me an eggplant?
Three things you need to know before you go.
A Franklin County Sheriff's deputy is facing nearly 60 felonies, including 32 counts of rape, at least half of those against a child under the age of 13. Who do you think you are, a Norwegian sand volleyball player? You disgusting piece of crap.
Oh, my gosh.
Court records show Deputy Charles Davis was taken into custody yesterday, then released from jail without having to pay a cash bond. He has been fitted with an ankle monitor and ordered to avoid contact with the victim and children, other than his own biological kids. This guy running around with kids in his own house. A pretrial hearing scheduled for August 26th. The alleged mastermind behind the 9/11 terror attacks is avoiding the death penalty. On Wednesday, officials announced Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 2 other 9/11 suspects being held on Guantanamo Bay have agreed to plead guilty and face sentencing August 5th. The sentencing recommendation is life in prison. The defendants are accused of providing training, money, and assistance to the 19 terrorists who hijacked passenger planes in 2001 and killed 2,996 people.
I had no idea they were still down there.
I didn't either. And then to find out that they're allowed to make a plea deal when they killed nearly 3,000 people day one. And then, of course, the many people who have died since with health problems.
Not only basically they committed an act of war.
How are these people not already
Yeah, that's why I don't know.
capital punished?
I kind of thought they just were. At least I wanted to believe
It's
that.
sickening, but you know the families of all of these 2,996 people knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure
I don't
they-
know that
they
I would
did.
like getting that letter from the government that they allowed this guy to make a plea deal to stay alive for the rest of his life.
23 years
stay alive for
later,
the rest
by
of
the
his
way.
Yeah, to live out the rest
What
of his
the heck
life.
takes so long?
I don't know. Feels really gross to me, though.
Yep.
Netflix has announced that season 2 of Squid Game is dropping the day after Christmas, Thursday, December 26th. 2024. Yesterday, Netflix released a track and field inspired teaser for the second season, and it's worth a watch. It's interesting. You can see people like runners in their normal running gear at the starting line. You hear the starter gun fire, they all take off, and all of a sudden, the regular runners kind of slow down, and you start to see runners in those famous green tracksuits.
Yes.
And then one by one, they start dropping to the ground dead. The camera then pans to view the front man, who says, "It's been 3 years. Do you want to play again?" So that's what we're left with. And then also there's like a card on this teaser that says the third and final season of Squid Game will be released next year. So they are planning a third and final season, and we will have it on Netflix by next year.
Man, I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with this. Because we didn't know anything the first season. We didn't know, how, and I don't want to spoil it for somebody who might be going to watch it. But we did not expect that ending.
Yeah.
We had no idea what was coming at
Right.
the end. And are they going to play different games?
Yeah, I don't know. The very tail end, and I don't know if you've seen the teaser yet, but it has a real close-up shot of the doll face.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of eerie. But also,
the red light, green light.
We
Yeah,
have
yeah.
the winner. Is he going to come back and play again?
Right.
Are we,
Well, that's the way they made it seem
that's
at
the
the
way they
end of
made
the
it
first
seem.
season.
He was going back for revenge, right? Against.
Oh, yeah. That might be the angle in
So
here.
I don't know. It's absolutely. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to it, and I know there are millions of people who watch Squid Game during the pandemic. So I guess we'll all have to wait and see. But the day after Christmas this year.
All right.
Those are your 3 things.
7:07 on your morning blitz with Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn. I'm Lewis. I'm not going to lie. It's been a rough Thursday.
Yeah.
Started off on something that I thought was going to go over differently. Hammered because I'm not lazy enough to have everything in my life delivered to me.
It's all right. We're going to get you on Love is Blind, and your life's going to get much better.
It's not.
How's that application coming, Kelly?
It's not been filled out yet, Lewis. I'll forward it to you, and we'll get started on that.
Get you on that show, man.
Nobody wants that.
Yes, we do. Everybody
Trust me.
wants that.
It's also National Girlfriend Day today for those who are celebrating.
National Girlfriend Day.
In
Okay.
case you were wondering. What a stupid day. Who needs that?
If you're
That's right out there
if you
with-
pay close attention, you can get little tidbits of info
We can't.
on
we
Lewis's private life.
We don't really celebrate Arbor Day, but we'll celebrate National Girlfriend Day. There's probably some girl out there that wants to be pampered today because it's National Girlfriend Day.
Why not? Why not?
Because some almanac.
I've never heard you get this upset about Arbor Day, so I know this is something personal.
Arbor Day's a great holiday that just gets overshadowed by everything else like Christmas, Easter, you know. We do have a chance for you to go to the Easy Riders Rodeo. You want to listen for Mammoth WVH's Distance. When you hear that song, text rodeo to 99700 for your chance to win. We'll take text number
50.
Okay.
99700.
So we were talking off the air a little while ago about the Bon Jovi documentary. Kelly started it. I started it, never finished it. You're the only one that finished it.
Yeah, I liked it for the nostalgia of it, because growing up as a kid with that whole explosion of Bon Jovi and seeing, clips of the old videos and the concerts and all of that. I remember seeing him at Legend Valley with 50,000 people.
Mm-hmm. I told you
Bon
guys
Jovi and Cinderella.
I told you guys my Bon Jovi meeting story, right? The soda machine in the Novi, Michigan hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He needed $1 or something from you.
He couldn't get $1. I was in town because my friend was a big Spawn fan, and Todd McFarlane, the artist creator of Spawn, the comic, had a semi-pro hockey team that he sponsored, and we went to see them play because Todd was going to be there in Detroit. And we were in the same hotel that Bon Jovi was in because they were playing at the Palace that night, and John could not get $1 to work in the soda machine, so I gave him $1.
Very nice. Lewis to the rescue, as always.
That was my John Bon Jovi story.
What you guys know, he dropped a new album recently.
Right.
Called Forever. And he claimed that it didn't hit number 1 on the charts. It debuted on the Billboard 200 at number 5, but he said it landed at number 5, and he did this conversation with Odyssey John and said, if it weren't for that pesky Taylor girl, we would have been number 1 everywhere. He was kind of tongue-in-cheek, and he went on to say it's still fantastic that their 18th album was as successful as it was. But the thing is, when it came out, its debut week, it did debut at number 5 on the Billboard Top 200. Mm-hmm. The next week, it dropped completely off of it. Gone.
Because John can't sing anymore.
I know.
I love the ego that it takes to say, you landed at number 5, and if it weren't for Taylor Swift, that would make you number 1.
Right? Why weren't you number 2?
What kind of an ego allows you to twist yourself into that kind of a pretzel?
I think it was kind of a joke.
I have a hard time. I struggle with the Bon Jovi thing because I do feel like when you've had that longevity, you have sold as many albums and concert tours as you are entitled to a certain amount of arrogance for what you've accomplished because you've kind of backed it up a little bit. But I've heard stories about John where if he's backstage, you're not allowed to look in his direction and all this kind of stuff. And that's where I go, how much of your Kool-Aid have you drank over the time? Because maybe it's a little bit too much.
Also, there is a complete difference between self-confidence and crazy arrogance.
Yeah.
Like I like a humble person, a person who has been really successful and is confident in their abilities and their success.
Yeah.
But they have some humility about them. The wild, ego and the wild. I just don't like a really arrogant human being. It just gets under my skin.
This is why we don't get along. Now I understand.
They put out an album 2020. In 2020, it lasted 2 weeks on the chart. This one lasted 1 week. I think, John, maybe it's not working anymore. No, you are no longer the biggest band in the world.
This goes back to what you and I have said about several different bands, Thick. You get to a point where your catalog of music in the past matters more than anything you're doing now.
Exactly.
Like, do you want to hear new Bon Jovi, especially when John can't sing? Hell, John can't even sing Living on a Prayer without dumbing it down to the lounge version level. So do you really want to hear? And now you've lost that.
No.
So I feel like there's just a point where even Metallica, as much as I love Metallica, I don't need a new Metallica album.
Oh, I do like that last Metallica album.
Well, I was just going to say, even though the last one was good.
Man, it's really good.
Metallica could get by on 10 of their previous albums, and that would be just fine. I'd never complain.
Yep.
I'd say if I'm John Bon Jovi, at this point, I am focusing on my philanthropy because he does a lot of great work out there with affordable housing and food and all that.
His restaurant is very cool.
Yeah. So focus on your philanthropy and embrace the old hits, baby. That's what we want.
Yep, it's over, Johnny.
Green Day on your morning blitz, 723. Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick. I'm Lewis on a hot, muggy day in C-Bus today in the 90s, so be wary of that. Well, don't do that. It'll dehydrate you.
Oh, Kelly, I know you hate it. I know you hate it. But, you know, why won't she go away? Why won't Hawk Tuah Girl go away? Because everybody out there is trying to get her on their show. I don't understand it. Well,
flavor of the month.
Man, it's been going on for a while now.
I do feel bad for her, though. I told you the other day when she came out and was like, there was just no response whatsoever when she came out to
introduce Warren Ziders and
like,
Jelly Roll.
That's awful. Like I feel for her there. Like that's got to be brutal. Because
I also think there is some quality content in finding out what a person like Haley, who became famous so quickly, and what life throws at you at that point with all this attention. And I find there to be, I guess, some interest in that. If I had a talk show, I'd probably want to talk to her. Say, what's your life been since this interview?
Well, turns out Haley is a Swiftie. And Bill Maher's pretty big. Would you say? I mean, he's a pretty big personality. He's got a pretty big show. He has her on. And he starts talking to her about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's relationship.
He's going to dump her, though. You know that.
No, I'm going to be a Travis Kelce hater.
I mean, with her, it's like the Gatorade at the Super Bowl. You know you're going to get dumped. You just don't know when.
But you got to think about it this way. If he does that, can you imagine the next album we're going to get off of that?
He's telling her Travis Kelce is going to dump Taylor. And I just thought that was funny.
He signs that $100 million deal with his brother. He might not need her anymore.
Here's my hot take, and I know nothing about either of them. I think they're getting married. That's
Taylor
what I
and
think.
Travis?
Yeah. I think this is the man she settles down with. They're so cute, and they seem like they support each other so much. And I've never really, I'm just sort of barely aware of Taylor Swift. I'm not kind of in that whole world. But you do hear about her breakups and everything, and I'm I've never seen so much about Taylor Swift as when she's been in this relationship.
Right.
And they do seem to love each other.
Yeah, they do.
So I don't think they're breaking up. I think they're getting married.
I think he was just trying to mess with Haley, to see if he could get her riled up.
I think Rick will use any excuse he possibly can to bring up Taylor Swift because he is a Swiftie. I'm not even sure it's closeted anymore.
No, I am fascinated by the impact she makes on everything, but I am definitely not. The girl, she writes songs like a 10-year-old girl. She is, that's basically, they're 10-year-old girl lyrics. And I don't know about you guys, when I was in school, little sixth grader Emily, she's in love with Timmy. They're going steady. That's what we used to call it. And she writes on the back of her notebook over and over again, I love Timmy, I love Timmy, I love Timmy. You've seen those girls do that, right, Kelly? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then Timmy breaks her heart. And the next day she gets a new notebook. And on the back of that notebook, she writes, we are never, ever, ever, ever getting back together. And poof, you got a Taylor Swift song.
Is that what you wrote on your notebook?
You know what I mean? She writes 10-year-old girl lyrics.
Thick Rick, that's really dismissive.
It is not.
And she's not writing songs for you. She's writing songs for girls.
10-year-old girls, yes.
Not 10-year-old girls who are living and up to her age and her experience. She's writing about a single woman. Absolutely. I think that's completely dismissive of a huge talent.
All right. Well, I'm dismissing it. Oh, she writes her own songs. Yeah, about 10-year-old girls. My favorite band is Led Zeppelin. Robert Plant wrote, these are the seasons of emotion, like the wind they rise and fall. This is the wonder of devotion. I see the torch we all must hold. This is the mystery of the quotient. Up on us all, a little rain must fall. Those are lyrics. That's writing. Come on. We are never, ever, ever, ever getting back together. Please. They're 10-year-old girl lyrics.
That you love.
Oh, my God. Can't take it.
Mammoth WVH just opened for the Foo Fighters a week or so ago, last week actually, 7:36 on the Morning Blitz with Dick, Kelly, and Lewis. Foo Fighters, that's another band. We were talking about Bon Jovi. That's another band. I love the Foos. I'm a diehard Foo Fighters fan, but I could care less if they ever put out another new album again because I am fine with everything in that catalog.
But I'm just thinking about Mammoth. That's it's a pretty good year and a half, opening for the Foo Fighters and Metallica. It's a pretty good company.
That was also the song you were listening for a shot at Easy Riders rodeo tickets, and that was going to text number 50, which currently belongs to
Dana in Morrow, Ohio.
There you go, Dana in Morrow, Ohio. Morrow's a good distance away.
Morrow.
I think
Morral.
Oh, I thought you said Morrow, which is Morrow, which is out by Kings Island, which I was like, that's a long way away. But congratulations. That is the Easy Riders Rodeo special guest, Wade Jennings, Demon Jones, Taproot, Smile Empty Soul, and more. The 29th of August through September the 2nd. Get tickets, easyridersevents.com. All right.
Polyamorous.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not the P polyamorous, but the T polyamorous.
Right.
Okay, I've never heard of this before.
All right, so what if your partner was cheating on you and you simply pretended not to know? Now, most people couldn't do that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you knew Charlie was having an affair, would you just go on with life like everything was normal?
I'm guessing Kelly doesn't even want to entertain the thought.
Well, no, I know, but I mean, come on. Yeah, it's a hypothetical thing.
Yeah.
You know. So this is polyamorous is used to describe people who tolerate their partner's infidelity without being in an open relationship. Even though it sounds like their partner is in an open relationship. Instead, both parties simply act like nothing is happening. Let's see. One 34-year-old wife said, I'd rather have him and put up with the cheating than not have him at all. I have a wonderful lifestyle and a beautiful house.
That's exactly what it comes down to, is a lifestyle change that would take place if you divorce the person.
Right. It's a very unusual arrangement, obviously. Common in relationships where partners don't want to split up and they want to present as monogamous. And it can also happen when sex drives don't match. Another wife named Sarah said, and this was the one that blew me away, if I confront him and he agrees to stop the affair, then I'll have to have sex with him again. Like, what? So it's like, oh, good, he's having an affair. I don't have to have sex with him anymore. This is a marriage to you, really?
Yeah, but I think this might be more common than you might think it is, because you have people that stay together for kids' purposes,
Sure.
and in some cases, if you've been together for a real long time, it's cheaper to stay together than go through the divorce. Because it will be a lifestyle change for both of you in some cases, because you're going to have to give up half of whatever.
Right.
So, but I know people who have stayed together for their kids.
Sure. Yeah. I understand.
So, I mean,
I understand that. You know, that's pretty unselfish. You know, in my opinion, if you know, because you're more concerned about your kids and their future and
but
their
I also
lives, that you will do that and not let them know anything's wrong. That's pretty unselfish.
But I also think that is a big lie to the kids, and when they find out one day, that can go a very drastic way. Hey, thanks guys, appreciate you lying to me for the last 18 years.
They did it to protect you, and that is true.
Yeah, but that doesn't change your feeling. Oh, great.
Well,
my parents have been lying to me for a while.
Right.
Awesome.
But hey, look, you went to college and now you got a great career. Instead of, us breaking up when you were 10 and you going to a, terrible school and not getting anywhere in life. I get it. I understand that. So,
polyamorous professional doormat, according to Ace. Some ways to look at it.
Yeah, so I guess, like Sarah there, if he wasn't having an affair, you wouldn't want to be having sex with him, is what I get from that.
Correct.
I just don't see this. That's not a loving marriage to me. I mean, that's, you're roommates. That's all you are. You're just roommates.
But there are people who do things out of convenience and not necessarily out of love, especially in today's world. You saw, what was it, when the housing market and the interest rates went up and rent got so high, you saw a lot of people who were married and became like a roommate situation because it was, more cost effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's, Mike, it's cheaper to keep her.
Well, yeah, because you mentioned, it's going to cost you a lot more to get divorced. Well, that depends on which end of that you are and what your situation is.
Yeah.
I
mean, I've always looked at life as half of nothing is still worse than nothing. So, I don't want to necessarily give up everything.
I think relationships are so complicated. Something like that would never work for me because I'm in it for love and companionship and trust and all that. And I think many people are that way, but I can see that people's relationships may evolve out of that and into something more of like convenient, sharing bills, raising kids if you have them, and you've sort of maybe not put the work in or fallen out of love, and so maybe you just don't care if your husband or wife goes off and does whatever they want.
Right. As long as you can live your life and do what you want.
Or just as the relationship works out the way it's currently going. It works out for both of you.
Yeah, it's working for both people.
For some, it's out of sight, out of mind, too. And if I don't see it, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I can't imagine, though, not being hurt by it. I don't know. That's an interesting situation. You've really cut yourself off emotionally from that person enough to where it doesn't hurt that they're going out.
Yeah, I feel like your relationship, as far as being in love, must have already been over.
Yeah,
it's done.
Yeah.
You were already roommates before the affair started.
Yeah, maybe you really do have some fondness for each other, and you have a good time together, but it's just not. I guess.
Jeremy said some people in today's world have no idea what love is. They've been raised in families where both parents work, and there's no love or affection shown in front of the kids. That's true too. I am a firm believer that I love you is the greatest lie anyone will ever tell you.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes me sad.
The greatest lie.
What is?
I love you. The greatest lie you could ever be told. Because I, like you, don't throw
I like you too.
Thank you. I don't throw that word around a lot. I hate people. I shouldn't say hate. That's a strong word. I frown on the people who... I'm with this person for 2 months and I love them. And then I break up and then all of a sudden I love this person. Yeah. You know, I have a friend and I've talked about her before. Every summer she's in love because some guy has a boat that can take her on the lake. And then let's see, we're in August now. By mid-September, that thing's going to come crashing down.
Right. And then she's singing, we're never, ever, ever, ever getting back together.
So, but I do agree with Jeremy. I think there are people out there who get in relationships but have no idea what love is. Or what love's supposed to be, or what love really is. But let's hear what you think, Blitz Nation. Let us know. You can call us. You can text us. Go ahead, Rick.
Well, I want to know if anybody's living this way.
Ooh, good call.
We don't have to give names. I'm just curious. Is anybody in a polyamorous relationship, and does it work for you?
749, Chevelle, the Red, the Morning Blitz, Kelly, Thick. I'm Lewis. We're talking about polyamorous relationships. Basically, people in relationships where one or both have affairs, and they just pretend like it doesn't happen. Kind of like in The Hangover 2. When a lot of effed up stuff happens, I just pretend like it didn't happen. Just forget about it. Some things a little harder to forget than others, but, you know. It is what it is. Tracy says, My ex-husband had a cousin who lived an open relationship with her husband. They were married, had kids, lived together, but had their own boyfriends and girlfriends, mind you. This was the 90s. The reason they did this is because they are both serial cheaters. He cheated on his first wife with her while his wife was in labor with his child. Oh, and his first wife and current wife were cousins.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a whole different reality show right there.
Wow. By the way, Lewis, Goose said you just became the love Grinch.
I'm just factual about it.
I cannot wait to meet the version of Lewis who is thriving, married with children. That version of Lewis is going to be the happiest guy you've ever seen in your life.
That version of Lewis will never come to be.
I absolutely disagree with you. That version of Lewis is coming down the road.
You think he's going to have kids?
Thank you.
I do.
Thank you. Taking care of the kids was as close. I put something to that extent in Caitlin's graduation card because that filled that void that I never thought I would fill.
All right. Okay, so maybe you've already done the kid thing, but I do think down the road, Lewis is going to start spitting sunshine and rainbows, and we're going to be like, all right, what's going on?
Jason Fancelli had it right. Love is evil spelled backwards. Yes, it is.
That's lie.
I don't think that works out right, but
it really does.
Go on.
Evil. But I get what he's saying. Oh, evil.
Evil.
Jeremy said some people in today's world have no idea what love is. They've been raised in families where both parents work and there's no love or affection. I know you read that last segment, but I read it. I wanted to read it again.
Come on, I was ready to pounce.
I know you were, but they, and the kids don't see that. And one thing I said to both of mine when they got married, I said, just always respect each other. Because if you lose respect for each other, it's over. Because you're not going to cheat on someone you truly, genuinely respect.
That's why you should not fart in front of your partner, because then they'll lose respect for you.
Not if they both like to do it.
Okay, if you're both farting in front of each other, yes.
I don't know that
You don't know my household.
I want to agree with that, but I don't know that I can.
With what? The respect?
Yeah, not cheating on someone you respect.
If you genuinely, truly, and respect somebody and your partner, love them, you truly, genuinely respect them, there's no way you're going to cheat on them. There's no way you're ever going to call them horrible names or scream at them. Not somebody you love and respect. That is disrespectful in itself. Doing it proves you don't respect them.
I agree, but I don't know that always plays true. I do agree. I agree with every word you just said, but I don't know that comes into practice as much. Steve just broke my heart with his story. A friend of mine had cancer and her sex drive is gone due to treatment. She lets her younger husband have a girlfriend so he can be satisfied.
Well, I mean,
and that's just
I guess people do what they got to do.
Heartbreaker on both sides. Brian said some people also have a kink about their partner being with another person. That's true. You can find that on the hub.
cuckolding?
You can find that on the hub quite a bit. In fact, a lot of times that kink is born out of a cheating incident. They think about their partner with another person and they find themselves being turned on instead of disgusted or angry about it. And instead of doing things in an ethical manner, they keep quiet and just continue to let their partner cheat.
Oh, cuckolds like to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a different story.
A little different.
That's polyamorous. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
No.
So
this person says, if I fart in front of you, that means I both love and respect you.
That's comfortable. You're comfortable if you're doing that.
Nick said my wife struggled with postpartum and her sex drive was gone. She genuinely wanted me to find a girlfriend to satisfy my needs. To Rick's point, I couldn't do it.
Okay, can I just say that if you don't have a sex drive, you can still help your partner out? You don't have to send them off to find a girlfriend or a boyfriend.
Kelly, oh, yes!
I've seen that on the hub, too.
I just don't understand that that's your solution.
Nice, Kelly.
I'm bored.
Excellent.
Not tonight. Go out and find someone.
Steve?
You serious? Doesn't matter who.
Steve says, man, I can only disappoint one woman at a time. Jeez.
I mean,
that's funny.
I think it is an interesting way to live. And I agree with what you said, Rick, but I think there are times when you can respect someone, but life comes into play and it causes you to make mistakes. I'm not condoning it. And I'm not saying that you should.
But in general, look, there are exceptions to everything. But come on, most of the time, if you genuinely, truly respect somebody, there are things you're not going to do. You don't want to hurt them.
Tristan said, I respected my teachers but still cheated on all my tests.
Well, that's a different issue there.
Someone said most polys were traumatized early in life or had a horrific experience, then look for acceptance in places like clubs, because that's the only place it can be seen as a sane decision.
Doug, exactly, Kelly. Give your man a hand.
Literally.
Jeremy, dang, tell Kelly this is a family show.
Hold on.
I just don't understand
she gave
where
step-by-step instructions on what you should do.
I guess I don't understand the leap from
right.
I don't feel like it to go have sex with someone else.
That is a pretty big gap. So,
man, well, all right. Well, if a polyamorous relationship is working for you, I guess good
more power
on you.
to you.
Yeah.
It's the Morning Blitz.
Coming up next, the 3 things you need to know.
Did you guys know they had like the season 2 finale of the House of the Dragon? It was leaked on social media. Did you guys know that?
I know this. The whole thing wasn't leaked.
I don't want to say I knew it, or Kelly would get mad at me.
Yeah, I knew this. He's dead, too.
He's dead too? Uh-oh.
No,
Well, it's not even supposed to be out until August 4th, but I want to tell you about HBO's comment.
You're not
going
to spoil anything, are you?
No, because the ending was
know,
not. There
I might.
was stuff that was leaked, but it wasn't the full ending of this season. So,
And now, 3 things you need to know before you go.
Listen to this. A cyber attack on the city of Columbus may be putting the personal information of government workers at risk. 10TV is citing anonymous sources who say money has been stolen out of bank accounts belonging to 2 Columbus police officers since the city's network was compromised. So officers are all being advised now to sign up for credit monitoring services and to take steps to protect their finances. That's pretty wild. Yeah.
Jeez.
wow.
This is whoever I am dying to talk to the human being who clicked on the bad link. Don't you want to talk to that person?
Right.
Oh,
And be
found
like,
that.
number one, I get you. I 100%, like, I've been there. I already told the story about Elf Bowling that I did 15 years ago and took down the entire newsroom network in this building.
If you're that person, though, you wish to remain anonymous.
Oh my gosh. Like, did you get fired? Did you have to go through some kind of retraining? Like, what happened with this poor person who took down the city of Columbus's network?
Right, but that's one of those things like winning the lottery, only the opposite.
Oh,
I don't want anybody to know who I am.
Yeah, you're right. People who live in or near East Palestine, Ohio, can now get $25,000 apiece for any injuries sustained after last year's Norfolk Southern freight train derailment. And that's on top of whatever money they're getting for property damage. It's all part of the $600 million class action lawsuit, or settlement, rather. Lawyers will be holding a Zoom call this evening for all residents of the East Palestine area. I think it's within 5 miles of East Palestine. The payment for health problems, this $25,000, is on top of the $70,000 that households can get for property damage. But if you want to get this injury settlement of $25,000, you have to sign paperwork that says you are giving up your right to sue if you come down with any health problems later on in life. So is that worth it? $25,000 now, but you have to sign away your right to sue later, even if you develop cancer or any other serious health condition.
It's a bunch of BS.
It's tough. It's tough because $25,000 right now sounds pretty good, especially if you're healthy at the moment. But man, you know, I don't know. I don't know what you do, but
they need Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Or Robert Sugar.
Yeah.
Were you offered $25,000 in exchange for what could be millions? Those are crumbs, and they're calling it dinner. Warforyou.com.
HBO is addressing the season finale of House of the Dragon Season 2 leaking on social media. Apparently, a TikTok account illegally uploaded clips of the episode, which is supposed to premiere on August the 4th. HBO said, quote, the clips were posted after an unintentional release from an international third-party distributor. The company is aggressively working to monitor and remove those clips. Problem is, once they get posted on TikTok and screen grabbed, you're trying to put the toothpaste back into the bottle.
It's annoying.
This is the second season in a row that the finale has leaked online. Yeah. How does this happen? What is an international third-party distributor? So somebody who doesn't have as tight a control on the HBO content?
That's exactly it. They're just, they distribute the show to different places, different outlets, whatever, and somebody decides, let me get a hold of this.
There's a lot of stuff
out of here.
They have production houses, so even though they film stuff, that gets shipped to whatever production house is putting it together. So whoever's editing the trailer, the director might go, okay, this is what I want in this. But you have a lot of people that are walking around those places that work there that go, I've accessed this. That's how the Hulk, when a long time ago before the Marvel Cinematic Universe happened, somebody posted the full Hulk movie and it cost them $250,000 because they got fined. But that was a guy that worked at a production house that had the access to the film and just uploaded it, thinking it'd be cool.
I don't understand what's in it for that person, especially if they're working on the production. It's like you leak something to what end? For clout?
For the benefit of mankind.
But then...
For hits? I don't know.
Yeah.
Clicks?
Now, this did not leak it did leak some plot points. One cameo that's supposed to have come up. Rick, you have this where we were talking about this earlier this morning too. There's a cameo that is kind of a big deal, but it did not leak the very end of the show.
So what did you do? Look at all the stuff?
That'll still be a surprise.
Did I look at it?
Yeah.
No, it was on Reddit. They pulled a lot of it down, but you got the basic gist of what was out there.
I'm glad I didn't see anything.
The only thing I've ever watched that someone sent me a link for X-Men Origins Wolverine before it came out, and I watched it. And I remember calling Lauren that day and go, look, I need 2 hours in my office by myself with nobody interrupting me because I didn't want the link to go away. And I watched the whole thing ahead of time. But yeah, I don't normally watch that stuff, but I do know what was in the content that was released.
I don't even watch, like when the episode ends,
Yeah.
I don't even watch the previews.
I don't
for
either.
next. I don't want to know anything.
Yeah. But it was a big deal. People wanted to see what happened.
Yeah. Well, I would have watched it. I love a spoiler. And those are your 3 things.
I do too. Well, there are certain times where the fake spoiler is better than what actually comes out. Like there was a plot leak for The Last Jedi that I thought was awesome. And then when none of it happened, I was even more pissed. So it just, it depends. But Sunday night, you'll be able to see the end of this season of House of the Dragon. And there you go. 10 years on the Morning Blitz. Thick, Kelly, Lewis, 8:11. And we have your chance to go check out Primus with Coheed and Cambria. You want to listen for Soundgarden to sing the fine song that is called Outshined. Great. When you hear that between now and 9 o'clock, you want to be caller number
25.
Caller number 25 at 800-821-9970 when you hear Outshined from Soundgarden. That is the song you were listening for this morning. So we're going to get pretty dark. I'll give you a little clue real quick what it's going to be about. A lot of celebrity suicides are having that effect on people who are following them, especially on the younger side of things.
Like making them suicidal?
Making them suicidal, and sometimes worse when they see that happening with an artist they followed or an actor or whatever, and that's a little dangerous. We'll get into that coming up. GNR on the Morning Blitz. It is 8:22. She's Kelly Quinn. That is Thick Rick. I'm Lewis. Thanks for hanging with us on a Thursday morning. The new Friday for some of you lucky bastards. For the rest of us, day number 4 this week. So I said it was going to get a little dark, and so I'm prefacing it with that. This is kind of scary, but at the same time, I'm not surprised at all that this is happening in today's world, especially with the social media world that we live in, where there's so much content out there. And if you follow your favorite actor, musician, band, whatever, you feel like, we talked about polyamorous relationships earlier, you feel like you're more attached to them than ever before. You know what I mean? Like in the 80s, if you bought a Metallica record, that's as close as you really got to the band. You weren't able to see what they were doing in their everyday life, right? We would all agree on that. Even in the 90s, too, for that matter. Yeah. Now, you have an inside look at your favorite artist. Researchers at Columbia University have determined that suicidal ideation and actual suicides increase among the general public following a celebrity suicide.
Oh, man.
Based on several factors, including calls to suicide hotlines and nationwide suicide data, they determined there was a rise in suicidal ideation after the deaths of Robin Williams, Anthony Bourdain, and Kate Spade, which probably aren't the celebrities that would have first come to mind with this when that happened. I would have thought more Chester.
Well, they probably did too.
Chris Cornell, I would think there. But yeah, and if that wasn't significant enough, there was a 1,000-fold increase in the likelihood of a person began to contemplate suicide following the death, and the number of actual excess suicides nearly doubled. When it came to Robin Williams, Bourdain and Spade had half that effect, but still pretty significant.
Well, you think about somebody who is already depressed and isn't very hopeful about their life, and then they see Robin Williams took his own life.
Comedian, funny guy.
And they're like, well, if he can't stand it, there's no hope for me. So I see where that can lead them down that path.
Well, I mean, if you're a struggling adult, let's say you're the single mom trying to raise 2 kids, you're a fan of designer things that you can't afford, and all of a sudden you see Kate Spade, who, multi-million-dollar purses and whatever. Like, I'm never really, I can see where that comes into play, but I'm not surprised given how much content there is out there. Kelly Quinn, you're very quiet.
Oh, well, it's a really difficult subject because you're talking about people who are beyond the depths of desperation in life where they don't see another alternative. Right. And, that can include a celebrity who's not thinking about anything else other than his own desperation or her own desperation. Mm-hmm. It's a very sad situation and does have triggering effects beyond. It's like throwing a rock into a pond and, the rings of effect out of that, you just can't imagine. And it just shows the importance, the absolute necessity. It's critical to have a support system, friends, a therapist. I mean, people who are invested in your life and helping you sort of manage through some of these desperate feelings that can be triggered by another person's suicide. It's really difficult. In fact, you sort of understand when that Netflix show 13 Reasons Why came out, they had to have like the warning card and everybody was like, oh, I don't want my kids watching this because I'm afraid. You do have reason to be afraid because you don't want suicide to be glamorized in any way because it is such an awful thing to have happen to a family. So I don't know. It's a difficult topic and it's a touchy topic, and it really does show that if you're in that feeling, that desperation or ideations or glamorizing, the end of life, the end of your life, it's so important to be invested with other people, or at least let other people invest in you.
I think you never know what people are going through behind closed doors. And I think there's a line in a Jelly Roll song called I'm Not Okay, but I've learned something along the lines of I've learned to hide it well or whatever. And I think a lot of people do hide it well, but you see every year at Christmas time, bad time of year for alcoholics. Bad time of year for suicide as well, because when you see everybody else has someone and you don't, all those things creep in. So if you're in a situation now where, like a lot of people are, it's tough to get ends to meet. You're, working 60 hours a week and just not, you can't, what'd you say the other day? You can't squeeze blood from a turnip or whatever. You're not getting by. Now you look and you see a celebrity that you may follow on social media because for some reason we all have phones. No matter how bad things get, we all still have a phone and access to whatever. But now you see a celebrity and in your head you go, man, I'm working 75 hours a week and I'm not making anything. That guy's worth $7 million and his life was bad too. You know what I mean?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Same. It's scary.
Jelly said, I'm not okay. I'm hanging on the rail. So if I say I'm fine, just know I learned to hide it well.
That's the line. I could not think of it. But it's, Jason said, money may not be happiness, but it does provide comfortable misery, and I'm willing to take that chance. Me too. It's not money. I don't want money to be able to buy anything I want. It's the security that comes along with it in most cases.
Yeah. 13 Reasons Why, man, that show, I was obsessed with that show. It was intense. It's tough to watch, but I thought it was a great show. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody, especially somebody who wasn't doing well.
No, go ahead, Cal.
I was just going to say, I think it's just important to be at least semi-cognizant of the fact that there are people walking around in our own lives, who are so desperately on the edge, and just the importance of just like reaching out, I guess. Yeah. Because everybody, if you are born, you are here for a purpose. You're here for a reason. You're important. You're an important human being, even though you may feel at the depths of the opposite of that at this moment. What your brain's telling you is not true, and you need people in your life to tell you that constantly, because you will get through it and you will get by and you'll reach the other side. But you've got to have support, because Man, life can get bleak, you guys. Life can get bleak.
And sometimes that's all it takes. Somebody's having a bad day, and out of nowhere, somebody reached out to them.
Said hi.
And said, hey, could change their entire life.
Yeah.
Doug said, suicide's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Jared said, I'm a single father to a 15-year-old girl. Every day it's a new struggle, but I keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Do your thing, Jared, for sure. Steve said, there's truth to don't follow your heroes because you may learn things about them that go against your beliefs.
For sure.
100%. But I think as a parent, you got to be concerned with kids seeing all that stuff, especially if you don't have the best home life and you know your kids don't have the best home life. It's tough. I know it was dark today. Soundgarden outshined. That was the song that you were listening for this morning on the Morning Blitz at 8:40 with Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. That would get you in to see Primus with Coheed and Cambria. All you had to do was be caller number 25. And congratulations going out to
Ryan Whitlow from West Mansfield has his tickets to see Primus.
Nice job. We'll do it again tomorrow. Katie said, thank you guys for talking about suicide and suicidal ideation on air. It's important just to acknowledge it. It does more than you can possibly imagine. Awesome segment. Thank you. No, we didn't. We did it just because Thick and I were talking about this morning, and we just, out of curiosity, were like, I bet this is a way bigger problem than anybody would ever give it credit for being.
Yeah.
Because of the social media connected world that we're in.
Well, again, it's just when you see somebody so successful do it, you're like, well, what am I going to do? You know?
Yeah,
so.
I think, it's, especially since mental health in the last couple of years has become such a big deal. You can text 988. I will throw the suicide crisis lifeline out there if anybody needs it. It is 988. But now let's move on to a different kind of morbid. So...
No,
it's not a shark. It's not Shark Week yet, but
is it Killer Whale Week yet? This has nothing to do with sharks.
It's not, but it is Killer Whale Week. So Rick has a interesting question that we posed on our Facebook wall earlier this morning. If you want to take a look at it, you can get the advanced know-how. But in the meantime, I yield.
I saw a movie when I was a kid, and Kelly, you may remember it. I don't know. I was young. It was called Orca. Mm-hmm. Starred Richard Harris, Bo Derek, Robert Carradine was in it. Richard Harris had a fishing boat, and he caught a killer whale. He caught an orca, and he had it hanging on this ship by its tail, and its baby came out of it and landed on the deck. And the father of that baby was in the ocean, staring at them, and started screaming. And you saw the view from the orca's eye looking at Richard Harrison like it got a clear view and it would never forget him. And throughout the whole movie, it was after him. And, I saw things in that movie. I'm like, man, are orcas really this smart? Are killer whales? Because you would see things throughout the movie that it was so intelligent. It turns out they really are. And last Wednesday, over in the Mediterranean Sea, Robert Powell was celebrating his birthday on a $128,000 yacht when 5 killer whales, set their sights on his yacht. He said they were not playing at all. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew the weak points of the boat, and they knew how to sink it, and they did. These 5 orcas smashed this boat from every side over and over until it started sinking. And then they left. And I'm like, that is insane to me. And when you see the remnants of it sitting there and them on it, there's some video. They don't have actual video because they weren't outside the ship filming the, whales hitting it. But it kind of reminds you of toward the end of the first Jaws when he's on the ship and it's sinking as he shoots the shark. And that's kind of how it looked. That's what I pictured. But, this boat's 39 feet long, and they kept circling it and smashing it. He said it was like watching wolves hunt. I'm like, that is crazy, man. Some Spanish salvage vessel showed up and helped them and the passengers on it, get onto their ship. And so nobody died or anything like that. But so I read a few more things about it because, again, I started thinking, are they really that intelligent? So I read a few more things, and that led me to my question. And this is what Lewis was talking about, this being a little dark. And because I have some knowledge of this, so I'm not going to tell you my answer. I want to get the answer from you two, and then we'll get some from Blitz Nation. If you had a choice, and it was going to happen one way or another, would you rather be eaten by a killer whale or a tiger? What do you think?
Whose lunch do you want to be?
I mean, a tiger. Hands down, a tiger.
Down,
tiger?
Okay.
That thing's going to get you by the neck and thrash you like a rag doll. It's over in a second.
See, I think the
With
same.
with an orca, I'm like, your face is going to be eaten by stomach acid first. You're going to, this is what I'm envisioning. I don't know how it happens, so I'm just thinking of like a situation where you're swallowed whole and then you're sitting in a stomach just being digested by enzymes slowly and no oxygen, and that
like
sounds
the Sarlacc
terrible.
pit from Return of the Jedi.
Give me the tiger.
See, they say that for all the people, there's always been that question, you were little kids, what's the most painful way to die? And everybody says burning is the most painful way.
I bet that is one of them. It's got to be one of them.
But I've heard that drowning is the most brutal way you can go because you're not able to, you just slowly suffocate.
They said the pain in your lungs is ungodly.
So my question is, if the orca would get you, would they swallow you whole and then you drowned while you were down there? Or would they, while they were swimming with you underwater, would you drown then and then you die? So I don't know. Do you have to go through the pain of drowning before the orca would even get to eating you? Is my question. So I have some questions.
Or are they munching you up in their teeth right off the bat?
Right, because that could be painful too. Because, oh man, that was my foot. Oh, that was my right knee. Oh, that was my left knee. You would feel it go as it went.
Okay, well, I can answer some of these questions, but let's get a response from Blitz Nation. 99-700, text us. Would you rather, you don't have a choice. You got to go one way or the other. Would you rather be eaten by a whale or a tiger? And tell us why you think you would rather be eaten by one of the other.
Because I'm kind of leaning in Kelly's direction, but I want to see if the whale is going to offer me a more pain-free way to go. We'll talk about it more after the foos. Foo Fighters on the Morning Blitz, 8:50. I'm Lewis, that's Thick Rick, and Kelly Quinn, and we're talking about ways that you can choose to go. Tiger eaten like a tiger for lunch, or eaten by a killer whale, if you would. Throwing it out on the text wall, throwing it out on the social media, and some interesting, the whole whale thing, I'm not sure about. Scott on our Facebook wall said being killed by an orca would be far more painful and drawn out. That's what I'm wondering. That's why I might be on Team Kelly with this one.
Something else I just found out about orcas. Jeremy texted in and said, have you seen where the orcas are attacking great white sharks? They extract their liver because it's a delicacy to the whales. The shark liver is a delicacy to the killer whales. So they attack them and extract their liver and eat the liver.
Okay. Nathan on the wall said, tigers immediately go for your throat. Orcas will mess with you and eventually drown you. Give me the quick tiger death any day. And Kyle said, came here to say the exact same thing. So that's where I might be on the tiger thing here, because even though it'll be a brutal 45 seconds, it's going to be over quick.
We had two texts from a couple of people who obviously know about orcas. Clay said killer whales are known for playing with their food. I'm taking that tiger fight every time. And then Ben, of course, with the orca would play with me, so it would be a slow, painful death. Well, one of the things in the movie Orca, at the end, they're around ice, like little icebergs, little ice flats that are floating on the water. This thing starts once it got Richard Harris in the water, it started playing with him. It even got him on his tail and flipped him up in the air so that he landed on the ice, where it kind of knocked him out. Then he put his chin up, the orca, his chin up on this round piece of ice that was floating to tilt it so that he would slide down to him and he could play with him some more. He made it last. He got his revenge on Richard Harris doing that. So they're right. A killer whale does like to play with its food and toss it around and bash it in the head and then a little drowning. And yeah, so Kelly, I'm with you. Give me the tiger, because he's going to kill me quick.
It's funny that Rachel says, the way that whales toy with their food, man, life toys with my emotions. Might as well let the thing that takes me out do it too.
Oh.
And King of Clubs said, let's talk about real world danger like these deadly suckers at Buckeye Lake. Flying great whites, not to be taken lightly.
Wait, what?
It's a picture. Like, is this Sharknado all over again?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a whale's bite. Did you see this? A whale's bite strength is 19,000 pounds per square inch. A tiger's is 1,000.
Well, if the whale would just bite me, like Jaws did to Quinn, then that's it. I'm done. It's over quick. But he's not going to. He's going to play with me. He's got a new toy. But then, somebody else mentioned that cats like to play with their prey, and that's true too. But I don't think a tiger that's trying to eat is looking at batting something around.
I guess bottom line is I want to be on terra firma when I'm killed.
Okay.
I want to be on the ground. I don't want to be in the water. I don't want to be on a boat. I don't want to be in any situation where there's a possibility of drowning. So I feel much more confident if I'm on land and a tiger gets me.
Here's what I think. Of the three of us in this room, karma would come into play. Whether you guys had the whale or the tiger, it would go quickly for both of you. For me, on the other hand, I'm not lucky enough to win the lottery, but I would get attacked by either a tiger or a whale, and the headline would read "Luckiest Man Alive" because I'd somehow live through both of them, be maimed, and then placed in my purple room in my wheelchair, unable to move or change the channel, and live out the rest of my 25
an iron lung for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Somebody asked, what if the tiger just held you down and started ripping pieces of your flesh off, and it takes a long time to die?
Gross. My gosh.
Because I think the drowning would happen pretty quick, even though it would be painful.
Ugh.
Well, you don't know. That's the thing.
Adam said, I'll just stay away from both, which is probably a smart
One thing we know for sure, you guys, anybody listening right now, the rest of your day is going to get happier.
Right, this is
From
true.
this point
but
on.
come on, who doesn't talk about that? I'd sit around with my friends and talk about stuff like this all the time.
Oh,
just, it's morbid, I know.
It's 8:55, so it's good to know that the death show today is coming.
Metal, man.
Coming
This
closer
is
to a
metal.
close.
Look at Mike. I would choose the tiger because I'm a Bengals fan. Who day?
Right. For all those people who say you guys need to be darker and edgier, mission accomplished today.
Don't you feel like you might be able to reason with a tiger? I mean, I feel like the possibility of me being able to sort of sidle up and maybe give a few behind the ear scratches and we're buds here. Yeah, I feel like there's a bigger chance of me being able to win over the tiger than win over a whale. A whale's really dumb, I feel like.
Whoa.
I mean, in terms of its food, it's just like scooping up whatever it's in its way.
Tell you what, you only bite one of my arms off. Leave the legs and the face alone. I will grill you T-bones for the next 365 days. Do we have a deal?
Right.
No? Okay, I'm dead.
Hey, look, I'm a nice guy. You don't eat me. I don't taste good.
Exactly.
Come on. You got a reason.
How do you reason with a tiger?
I feel like there's a chance. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm way overconfident here, but I do feel like there's a chance.
What, all of a sudden he's trying to do little figure eights between your legs and rubbing up against you?
Right.
Hey. We might be buds by the end of the day. That's all I'm saying.
You could win over a tiger. You could, Kelly.
You probably could. I've seen the show. Kitty. Carol, that bitch Carol Baskin killed her husband.
Killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. Fed them to tigers, they snacking. What's happening? Carol Baskin. Killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen.
Absolutely, all you
Fed
cool
them
cats
to
and
tigers,
kittens.
they snacking. What's happening? Carol Baskin.
Sit down. All right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
Well, this is fresh from the Columbus Dispatch, but Mayor Andrew Ginther this week said the city thwarted the ransomware attack on its city computer systems, but that data may have been stolen. And we are finding out that an international ransomware group called Reseda has listed Columbus city government data on its dark website for sale. A screenshot of Reseda's listing for the auction of the Columbus data that was obtained by the cyber watchdog site says Reseda stole more than 6.5 terabytes of databases, internal logins, and passwords of employees, along with a full dump of servers with emergency service applications of the city, access from city video cameras. And the group is asking for just shy of $2 million in Bitcoin as payment for the stolen data. So this is an enormously dangerous situation now for the city of Columbus and its employees in terms of data and stolen data. So this was a huge deal, as we all already know, but there's some extra detail for you on the extent of that ransomware attack.
So many new kinds of criminals now.
Yeah.
It's unreal, man.
Yep, with really far reach, which is scary.
Yeah.
This is a really neat story, you guys. 3D printing technology is being used to build a house in South Linden. The East 26th Street residence is the first of its kind in the city of Columbus. An Ohio contractor is heading up the project, overseeing a small crew as they build up the structure using computer-controlled machines and layers of concrete. Columbus City Council member Emmanuel Remy says the technology may be able to get more affordable housing up in the city quickly while cutting costs at the same time. So that's pretty cool.
Wait, so the 3D printing, it can do concrete?
They said they're using concrete and 3D printing material.
Okay, all right. So, so the concrete's the foundation, and then the house is built by the 3D
Right,
printing.
they're doing layers of concrete and layers of computer control.
Wow. That's cool.
It is really
See, there's
cool.
the good part of the technology.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what this thing looks like. I'm kind of half tempted to drive. It's on East 26th Street. They're doing it, I guess, currently. So I'm sort of curious to drive by and see what's happening. It's right there in South Linden.
Yeah, because with 3D printing, I mean, you could build a house with no square angles, or any corners. It could be all round. You could do whatever you wanted.
Yeah, have fun decorating that bad boy.
Our friend Jared Murphy does 3D printing. He's done some movie masks and stuff. It's badass.
How long does it take for one? Say we're talking about I don't even know how to describe it, but I wonder how long it would take to 3D print a house.
Well, I assume they have some industrial level 3D printers, but one at home, I mean, you could just print a little figurine. It could take so long.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they have some advanced printing capabilities.
Yeah. I'm still doing a drive-by, I think, you guys. I'll let you know what I see. All right. The 2024 World Yo-Yo Contest continues in Cleveland today. It's 4 days, started yesterday. And the competition brings together top competitors from more than 20 countries for 4 days of competition. There are workshops, there are lessons available for attendees. The event is being held at the Hotel Cleveland. There are 229 contestants from 27 countries, 10 divisions. The yo-yos these people are using are insane. It is not your basic average Dunkin' yo-yo, although they do sell really elite Dunkin' yo-yos.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember asking for what was the Dunkin' butterfly?
Yes.
Yo-yo?
The butterfly, yeah.
You can still get one of those for $7.
Yeah.
It's really cost effective. It's a cheap way of entertainment. I loved a yo-yo.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
And whether it was Dunkin' or any other brand, you wanted that butterfly look.
Yeah, for lighter.
Yeah. And it was just, you could just do so much more with it.
You can do a walk the dog and around the world. I can do it around the world.
Everything. And then you're looking at, what are you doing that janky looking, that round cookie looking thing, man? That ain't no yo-yo.
It's like the thing goes, the little tiny ones, they start going sideways and spinning around. You have no control.
Right.
But a butterfly one, try to do around the world. You smash your sister in the face with that thing on accident. No teeth were lost.
Sure.
But they do sell upward. Dunkin' sells an yo-yo at about $120. There are other companies that sell them for more expensive, but they're
what?
Yeah, I mean listen to this. This
$120?
$114.99 for
a
Dunkin' Haymaker. And it's like this bimetal yo-yo. It's like this gorgeous high-level, space-age polymer looking thing.
Oh, God.
But you got to see some videos of these people at this worldwide yo-yo contest in Cleveland. It's insane, the amount of things. Like, how much time have you spent with that yo-yo? A lot of time.
And when does that become an Olympic event?
I know, it should be.
Oh, come on.
You got to have some muscle to do a few around the worlds, don't you? All right, guys, those are your 3 things.